The desert is quiet. Not the kind of quiet that makes you sleepy, but the kind that presses gently against your ears, like warm sand cupped in soft paws. Even the wind whispers here. Even the stars blink slower. This is where I live. My name, well, I don't suppose you need it. I am one of many. Small, silent, sand-colored. A desert fox. Fennec, if you know the name. I've decided to write this letter, this little piece of me, not because I expect you to understand, but because sometimes even silence longs to be heard. Where I live, shade is sacred. My world is painted in pale golds and fading browns. The sand dunes rise and fall like waves frozen in time. There are no forests, no rivers, no crowds, only the heat and the hush. But I was born into this, into a den dug deep beneath the sands, cool and dark, safe from the firelight sun. My ears were the first to know the world. Before I could walk, they twitched at every rustle. A beetle crawling, a lizard's tail flicking, the faint tremble of a scorpion tiptoeing by. You've seen my ears, haven't you? They look too big, maybe even silly to you. But here, they are everything. They hear what your ears would miss. They fan the heat from my blood when the air is too thick to breathe. They keep me alive. You might think life in the desert is simple. Open sand, open sky. But to survive here is to carry a secret knowledge. We don't chase. We wait. We don't shout. We listen. When the sun sleeps, I begin to stir. The desert changes when the moon rises. The heat slips away. The wind cools its breath. And that's when we hunt, softly, silently. I step lightly. Even my footprints barely mark the sand. There's no room for waste here. No extra movement. No unnecessary sound. Everything has a cost, and every mistake a consequence. You might wonder what we eat out here. There's no fruit, no berries, no sweet meadow to sniff. We take what we can. Insects are our quiet prize. Beetles mostly. Sometimes a moth if it's too sleepy to flutter. I've caught small birds too, but rarely. Mostly I listen, then pounce. It's not glamorous. It's survival. Sometimes, if the moon is kind, I find a root. Dry, dusty, bitter, but nourishing. We don't complain. We chew. We live. And water? A water. You carry it in bottles, fountains, glasses. We carry it in hope. There are nights, long, sharp nights, where I've walked for hours, nose low to the sand, hoping to find a drop caught in a cactus or a cracked stone. We learn to drink the morning air, to sip the dew off our fur, to hold our thirst like a secret we dare not share. Even my kidneys know how to help. They're small, but strong. They've learned to save every droplet like a treasure. But it's not always enough. I've seen droughts where even the beetles stopped coming. I've heard the silence stretch so long, it started to ring. The sky turned gray, not with clouds, but with heat. Even my paws, built to walk over burning ground, ached from the weight of the emptiness. Still I stayed. Still I hunted. Still I listened. Because the desert does not allow weakness, only adaptation. You might look at me and see something fragile, a creature too soft, too small to matter. But every night I rise, I carry the memory of my ancestors. Thousands of years of resilience, etched into every bone, every whisker, every breath. I do not roar. I do not fight. I do not climb mountains or cross seas. But I endure. That is my strength. That is the quiet promise of my kind. And still, even in all this silence, there's something that stirs in me now, something I've never known before. A strange presence in the sand, a new scent in the air, something that doesn't belong, something human. I didn't understand it at first. The scent was strange, sharp, smoky, sweet in a way that didn't feel real. Not like the scent of beetles or sagebrush or sleeping sand. No, this was something made, something changed. The wind carried it for miles. And when I followed, I saw footprints, wide, heavy ones, pressed deep into the sand, not scattered like ours, but straight and purposeful, like someone walking through a world they did not pause to know. They were your footprints. Your machines came too. Great humming shapes that rolled over the dunes, shaking the ground beneath my den. Lights as bright as sun, even at night. Noise that did not listen. I watched from a distance. It was not fear. Not exactly. It was confusion. The desert is built on stillness, on balance. But when you came, the balance shifted. Plants we'd hidden beneath were crushed. Burrows caved in. The air tasted different. Hotter, heavier, as if it carried too much breath. I heard the owls go silent. I saw the snakes slither farther than usual. The beetles? They vanished. And the moths? Their wings burned by your unnatural light. Still, I remained. What choice did I have? The desert is not something we visit. It's something we are. You stayed for a while, marking the land with symbols I couldn't understand. You dug. You poured things. You made the sand bleed dark and slick, and I did not know what it was. One morning, I awoke to find a thin sheet of something strange on the wind. It tangled around a cactus, fluttering, choking. A plastic skin torn from some package you left behind. We do not use things we cannot give back to the earth. But this would not go away. It rustled even when there was no breeze. And then, one night, a young fox from a neighboring den didn't return. I found him caught in it, that same plastic tight around his neck, his little paws still warm. We do not cry the way you do, but I remember the ache. The desert gives so little, cannot afford to lose even one. That's when I began to wonder, do you know we're here? Or do you see this land as empty? Do you walk the dunes and think them lifeless? Do you feel the heat and miss the life pulsing beneath it? Because we are here, always, even if you don't look. We have learned to live small, to take only what we need, to leave no trail, no harm. But you arrive with a hunger bigger than the desert can carry. You pull water from the ground, faster than it can rise. You build where shade once offered rest. And the quiet we hold so dearly, you turn it into noise. Still, I do not blame you. I know that not all of you mean harm. Some of you do care. I've heard soft voices near the edge of the desert. Humans who speak gently, who plant small things, who leave bowls of water in the sand when the drought is cruel. Those acts echo in our world. We notice, we remember, but there are fewer of those voices now. And the sand grows hotter each year. Even the moon feels farther away. Some nights I sit on a high dune, ears twitching, eyes half closed, and I wonder what will become of us. Will my kind still be here when your children are grown? Will the foxes still whisper beneath the stars? Or will the silence become too deep, even for us? I sometimes wonder if the desert remembers more than I do. It holds stories in the sand, tiny scratches left by the legs of a scorpion, the soft imprint of an owl's wing as it brushes down to strike, the narrow, careful path of my own paws, tracing across dune after dune in the moonlight. It's all here. Even the wind knows the truth, though it never speaks it aloud. It just carries it, quietly, patiently, as if hoping someone will finally listen. There are days I walk farther than usual, searching, not always for food, sometimes for signs. Signs that the desert still breathes. A green shoot poking through the dust. A lizard sunbathing without fear. The sound of an insect tapping against a hollow seed pod. These are the moments that keep me going. But I also notice the changes. The air stays warmer through the night now. The stars seem to shimmer differently. The scent of the earth, once sharp and dry like baked stone and crushed saltbush, now carries a weight I can't explain. I have begun to dig my burrows deeper. I teach the young ones to be quieter, to travel at night when the machines sleep, to eat slower, and to waste nothing. Even the smallest mistake can mean the end. Once there were many of us. Fennec foxes, sand foxes, kit foxes. We ruled the silence, thrived on the hush. But each year, fewer dens are found. Fewer songs are howled into the wind. Some say the desert is growing. But that's not quite true. It's changing, hardening, losing the softness that once held us. You might not notice it. You drive across it. You build into it. You take photos of it from behind glass. But do you feel it? Really feel it? Do you know that underneath your tires and tents, there are lives unfolding quietly and lives being lost? Still, I return every night to my den, to the wind, to the quiet that still remembers me. And in that quiet, I write this, not in words as you do, but in the dust, in paw prints, in glances toward the moon. Because if I don't leave something behind, who will know we were here? I don't ask for much, just that you look a little longer when you see the dunes ripple, just that you listen when the wind changes tone, just that you remember the desert is not empty. It is full of lives, of stories, of hope, even if that hope wears large ears and walks on silent feet. Thank you for hearing my letter. Maybe one day you'll walk beside me. If you'd like to hear another letter, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. I'll be waiting. See you soon.